Hello, welcome to Good Work Now, your show for finding and creating good work. I'm Dr. Brian Moffitt, your host. Although we're starting our second season here from Southwest Florida, you can watch Good Work Now anytime or anywhere on our YouTube channel or our website. You can also follow us on Twitter to receive updates about new episodes. 6 months ago, I retired, and that inspired me to focus our first episode of the second season on retirement planning. And so I'm going to focus on the 6 keys to a happy retirement, and I'm going to end on the last one that I think is the most overlooked and probably the most important. Let's start with the financial key. This is probably the most popular and traditional retirement planning area. This includes things like pensions, 401s, savings accounts, investments. So the question to ask yourself is, can you afford to retire? The next key is health. This includes things like exercise, nutrition, chronic disease management. Do you have a sense of what kinds of health issues you may be in for in your retirement years? Also important in this area are things like health insurance. Do you have health coverage as part of your pension plan? If not, what kind of health plan can you afford? The next area is legal. This includes things like wills, estate planning, taxation, and other legal issues that may emerge during your retirement years. Normally, when we retire, we have more free time for family and friends. Who do you want to spend more time with? Or who do you want to spend less time with? Or maybe there's some new relationships you want to develop. And maybe it's time to explore love in this new chapter in your life. The 5th key is spiritual. And some of you explore and express your spirituality through religion. Others find it through nature, walking, meditating, yoga. Wherever you find your spiritual inner peace, that's what you need to focus on with this key. And the last key is called occupational. Like the title of this key implies, this is all about how do you occupy your time beyond spiritual and social means. We've all spent years, often decades, preparing for our professional life. And when we retire, what kind of identity are we going to have? For example, if you were a police officer and then suddenly you retire, who are you going to be? Are you going to be a gardener? Are you going to be an artist? Are you going to be a homebody? Are you going to be a golfer? You need to think about what kind of identity you need to be. You need to think about who are you when you retire. Recently, I spoke to a retired family physician, Larry Giroux, about how he focused his occupational area of his retirement. Good morning, Larry. Thank you so much for being on Good Work Now.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Let me start by asking, when did you retire?
I retired about 8 years ago from a very intense family practice group. We had, I think when I left the group, it was about 12 doctors.
Okay. And tell me how you made the adjustment from being an active, full-time physician to a retired physician.
What I did was I transitioned from a part-time hobby to a full-time hobby. I involved myself more with the editorial aspects of gardening and publications of an international journal.
So you were able to rely on your leisure interests to fill the gap when you retired from medicine.
Fortunately, I already had these hobbies or these interests prior to retirement. I'm sure there's a lot of physicians who just played golf in their free time and they didn't have the hobbies that I had. Mm-hmm. So I was very fortunate, I think, that I had something that I could occupy my retirement with.
So a lesson learned here is that for folks that are approaching retirement, they need to look at what their interests are and begin thinking about putting more time in those areas.
Exactly. I think that the important thing is that if you do not have any kind of interest which you'd be able to expand upon, then you would probably need to either start some kind of hobby, or if you, it doesn't say that you have to do any kind of hobby things. You could actually utilize your training and volunteer for medical aspects or medical programs.
Larry, I want to thank you again on behalf of Good Work Now for joining us for your insights on life after retirement. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In Larry's case, he focused on leisure as a way of occupying his time. How are you going to occupy your time? Do you want to golf? Do you want to bowl? Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to think about starting a second career or a third career? Do you want to teach? Do you want to consult? Maybe start your own business. It's important that you come up with an identity that you are comfortable with and is going to make you feel fulfilled. So there you have it, the 6 keys for a happy retirement: financial, health, legal, social, spiritual, and occupational. Whether you're retired now or you're years away from retirement, start thinking about where you're prepared and what areas you need to focus on. Remember, retirement is not the end. It's really the beginning of a new chapter in your life. I know it is for me. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the beginning of our 2nd season for Good Work Now. If you have any topics for future episodes, please email me at brianmoffitt@comcast.net. And until next time, keep up the good work.